News that has brought happiness to the Muslim Ummah, the announcement that has come through from Germany, that Germany's largest mosque is to broadcast the Adhan on Fridays. We welcome to the airwaves of Radio Islam and through the social media viewers of Radio Islam, our guest this afternoon, Majid Abdus Salam. Majid, assalamu alaikum and welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum assalam, akhi, and welcome to you and all our brothers and sisters and family and comrades in South Africa.
Alhamdulillah, we're really happy to be chatting to you, and it's such a positive note, such good news that has brought happiness to the Ummah. Tell us more about this development that has been announced and has been brought to the attention of the world with the circulation of this news that the Germany's largest mosque is now to broadcast the Azan on Fridays. This is in the city of Cologne. Perhaps you could give us some background and context to this development.
I just want to mention this is very, first it's too late to mention how, too late for Germany, just to mention that this has been a call by Muslims for generations to come and to have their prayers and call for prayers, just only even Friday for many decades, but the German governments have, and some certain parties have been blocking it for a while. Sure, as a city in Cologne, one city which has done that, it's a sign of respect and a sign of that we things are processing and such very simple rights for Muslims to have their call for prayers, the same as the bells for churches in Germany to have the rings every 15 minutes, so Muslims just ask for the Fridays to have their calls to go out, as they actually one-tenth of the society, so there are about 6 million of about 80 million who live in of the population of Germany, so they are a huge minority. This huge minority deserve respect and deserve to not only in Cologne as one city in a state called NRW, which is one of the biggest states in Germany, but all other states needs to take the same examples and go forward with such decisions as a respect to Islam as a religion, to the Muslims, to also to give an example that they do not respect only Muslims, but they respect all religions equally, and not respect Christian over Muslims or Baha'is over Muslim or so on, because in the end of the day, we must recognize that Muslims are being attacked in Germany, and also, we should be very happy that things are processing, but I'm actually not that happy about all the process of such, not the law itself, but situations of Muslim with increasing amount of Islamophobia, anti-Muslims attacks on Muslims, on people of colors, on those people who look like Muslims, around the country. Racism is increasing in Germany and all of Europe, and Muslims are the targets actually in many forums, and especially those people of color, those who look a bit darker colors, they consider as immigrants, and they actually, a lot of them are Muslims, so they are a target to many racist and far-right, actually neo-Nazist groups in Germany.
Yes, so Majid, the point that you make there is that, that it's a racist society and that those with darker skin colors happen to be Muslims. So is the racism targeted at anyone who's not white, or is it specifically at Muslims?
Actually, it's both. They would not... first, as darker color, people who look like refugees or immigrants, with the flood of many refugees in all the countries, we has an increasing far-right German group, and mainly Germans, and those groups are actually sorting themselves out. They are organizing themselves as actually militant group to attack Muslims. And this news is actually not reaching out to the outer world, the non-Western world, I would say, because Western society is trying to give the image about themselves as non-racist society, while they are trying to overcome a huge problem, which is whiteness, like very critical white. Okay, خليهم يستنون بس لو سمحت. Sorry, my parents are right.
Mama?
And, considering your own background from Palestine and the fact that you also a campaigner for human rights and defender of the Palestinians, tell us about the Palestinian community in Germany.
No, the Palestinian community is the same as Muslims. Actually, the Palestinians are centered in all the anti-Muslim racism.
Yes.
In the German phenomena and politics, because Germans, in general, and German politics and German parties have attacked Palestinian, repressed Palestinian for generations. That we had a methodology or a phenomena called anti-Muslim racism, anti-Palestinian racism in Germany. And this anti-Palestinian racism have been going for decades. The community of Palestinians, which actually arise for over 250,000 Palestinians, they are under attack continuously, being attacked as anti-Semite, and that's actually a twisted. They choose any twisted methodologies to please the Jewish in the country, and mainly please Israel, actually, in general, and also to satisfy their moral superiority as Germans. And this also part of the overall, actually, attack on Muslims, because they actually, German would like to satisfy, this is my analysis at least, they would like to satisfy their own moral superiority, and Palestinians should pay the price. So we pay the German sins ourselves in the German continent, and our community is strongly repressed because of the German continuous repression practices against Palestinian community. Together, they actually repress Syrians, they repress Afghanis and all other Muslims, because
yes.
We have to ask the one question, please, I tell you, that ask the one question: are you actually for the right for Israel to exist or not? Are you for Palestine or not? And how are you for Palestine? If so, they answer the question wrongly, then they always kind of claim to be pro-Palestinians, and that is a very huge not problem. Actually, it's something that we have to tackle as anti-Palestinian racism. Yeah.
Yes. With this development, that as you indicate, that it is a little late, considering the fact that in Cologne itself, the cathedral has always been announcing its sounds of the bells, and it can be heard from the main train station. It's only now that the Muslims are being allowed this, which ought to be their right. It's being afforded as though it's a privilege. But with this development, can we expect the momentum now to grow in Germany, and that more towns and cities will now follow suit?
I would say this is a good example. It's for 2 years, and I imagine, from my knowledge of Germany, it might happen just not because of the German want, because the Muslims in Germany is increasing, because of all refugees that start to settle, who come from Syria, from Afghanistan, from all countries which were target for Western interventions. They settled here, and now they have families, and they want to fight for their rights, for their freedom to speech, for their freedom to religion, freedom to pray, for freedom to have their practices peacefully. And that's the reason why I would believe that this gonna happen, and might other states would have Cologne as an example. But it's gonna be a tough fight, I would say, a tough struggle, which people in the world, not only Muslims, have to actually fight for this equal rights for Muslim, Christians, Baha'is, Dorzis, whoever from each religions, to practice their religion the way they want, with everybody being peacefully acknowledging the respect for each other. So that's how I think about it. But while acknowledging the critical situation of anti-Muslim racism in Germany, I just want to mention that in 2019 we have over 800 anti-Muslim attack against Muslims in Germany. That's the recorded one, not the recorded one. I guarantee you it's thousands, and also in 2020 it was actually much more. It was to 950, I believe, and 2021 it's also much more, because Muslims' visibility increased. Then far-right groups increase their repression against Muslims. And also we have to look at all the European countries in general. Many European countries, such as Switzerland, for example, they don't allow mosques to have minarets, because they don't want any sign of Muslims, any sign of Islam around, considering it as political, and considering this minaret sign as an attack against them. This very actually idiotic thinking is actually existing in Europe, with many far-right groups growing and still have never met a Muslim before, and still decide for how Muslims should appear within the European spaces, which is very racist and overall. Yeah.
We appreciate you availing yourself to speak to us, Brother Majid. You've given us a beautiful context to what these developments are, and made us understand what are the challenges that Muslims continue to face, and those of brown skin in Europe. Barakallahu feekum, jazakumullah khair for availing yourself, and inshallah we look forward to chatting to you again in the future.
Thank you, Akhi, and we continue to fight together.
Ameen, ameen.
Free Palestine. Bye-bye.
Ameen. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.